On to the third and final match. This is all the way up in Diamond Division. This is the highest division in SCL. Magician1099 versus FalconHit.
All right, and warning track, you're not allowed to watch this, so please close your eyes during this match.
Oh, you assume I haven't already watched this? FalconHit is my week 3 opponent, as it turns out. How do you know I haven't dissected this already? I actually haven't. I've looked at everything so far.
All right, anyway.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Magician1099 has been in Diamond for a very, very, very long time. Made the finals against Casey Kaylee way back in Season 2, and has actually been bumped down to Platinum before, bounced around a couple times, has kind of tried to get out of Diamond, has struggled a few times, gone winless once or twice, I think, but has stuck around, stayed alive in hazard matches. And,
for whatever reason, Magician turns on whenever he's in a hazard match. And I was not able to beat him.
That's right, yeah.
Twice. I believe Urand was able to.
Yes.
Urand was able to, and it looked like Magician had finally escaped Diamond, but no, there's no real escape. It follows you forever. Take my word for it. There were a number of drops at high levels, and Magician1099 is right back in Diamond, but they have to play someone just as new, actually, because most of the division, everyone but me, and other than Magician, I think, as a matter of fact, is new, and one of those new players is FalconHit, who has been rising through the SL ranks for a number of seasons, capped out last season at Platinum, did not manage to advance naturally from that, but again, the aforementioned drops, FalconHit goes into Diamond anyway, and now up against Magician. Lost their first match, FalconHit did, to Urand, who's also new to Diamond. Get used to saying that a lot. But Magician is still an old hand here, can't seem to get away. Has to play FalconHit now. And, well, geez, let's take a look at this draft.
Yeah, let's look. The first ban, unfortunately, shall be Gallery.
Okay, and that is from, I believe, FalconHit.
That is from FalconHit, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Magician1099 sort of figured out about a season and a half ago that they were really good at Gallery relative to the other venues and started picking it. I learned the hard way falling behind 3-1 against them, as a matter of fact, on Gallery. So one of their better venues. Again, they've struggled generally in Diamond, but that's a very understandable thing. But Gallery's been a bright spot for them, and FalconHit seems to have noticed that.
All right, and, well, 3 times in a row we're seeing a Veranda ban today.
There it is.
That's actually a lot of Veranda banning. I didn't expect that.
But for the second time in a row, we are seeing doubled Redwoods.
Doubled Redwoods, indeed.
Did we have restrictions?
Whoops, I forgot restrictions. I was too excited about doubled Redwoods.
One of them. Yeah.
Anyway, Tan is the restriction from FalconHit. Apparently, you can only... Interesting. Yeah, so FalconHit restricted Tan and doubled Redwoods. But Modern is the other restriction.
All right, yeah.
But anyway, I was too excited. Double Redwoods. Yeah, we get to see it again.
But this is out there.
But we'll
see. You want the good news or the bad news first? And Cleto says, "I want the good news first." We're going right to the doubles, and it's Redwoods.
But
and then the bad news,
question
which is
are we going to finish? Our mission's going to be completed this time.
I sure hope so. When I watch a Redwoods set, I'm there for the mission completions. Redwoods give you so much opportunity, and I want to see it.
But this is Diamond, where mission completions go to die in Diamond, unfortunately.
Yeah, and FalconHit does slow play a fair bit. By the way, they did pick Redwoods against Durand in week 1, and I think split it actually too, which is no small feat against Durand. But in the meantime, it looks like Magician doubling Library.
Yep, doubling Library. I mean, Library is always a favorite of a lot of players, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. There's really no specific thing in the history of either player that would suggest this pick, so I think just saying, why not?
Fine. Magician likes books, probably.
That's well read, sure.
And then,
yes,
I think because I think in honor of OP casting here, we have ballroom.
Did we get a ballroom pick?
Yep, we get a ballroom once again.
All right.
And then the final one shall be pub. Apparently, somebody likes pub.
Somebody. I don't know if it's me, but I don't even know if it's really Magician. Although Magician did pick Pub against me a couple times last season, but that was the Pub 3-5 variant. We will discuss the difference if and when we get that far, however. And it looks like we're going to start off here with Redwoods. Yep.
And we're back to Queen again.
Yeah, it's Queen again. Come on, that's random, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, okay. So this time General's an SDA, so it's
This
fine.
isn't a concerted effort. Don't worry about it. They're not communicating with each other, I hope. Playing as Queen.
In fact, these matches, I believe these matches played at the exact same time, so it would be really hard for them.
That's a hell of a lot of coordination. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. Magician is Spy first. Hoping it's a new day in Diamond. There's a lot of new blood in Diamond. Obviously, had trouble beating the previous participants, but it's all new people now, and well, who knows? Maybe there's a little hidden vigorish. Maybe he's due after all this time, and he has shown high-level results in the past before. You never know. Did draw against Ponoob in week 1, which, at least on paper, pretty big point there for Magician.
Yeah, for sure. Ponoob went all of last season almost drawless before drawing against Anaconda, and I believe his last match of the season.
With
So it
no
was
losses, though, yeah.
yeah, with no losses. So 9-0-1, that scoreline for Ponoob in Platinum last season. Very, very impressive. And Magician immediately gives one to him in week 1. So I I'd really love to see Magician maybe hand a loss or at the very least a draw to Falcon here. Say you new whippersnappers to Diamond. Uh, you got to go
Yeah.
through me first.
Yeah, as an old curmudgeon of Diamond already, I can't believe it. I remember when I was new and terrified, but it's my 3rd season now. As one of those old curmudgeons, I kind of have to root for it just because Magician, by the way, has already got a green microfilm in pocket. And, well, technically a blue microfilm in pocket, but the test was green, and that's the more important thing of the two. And we have a Seduce at the lovely fireplace, which is very conducive to romance. 51%, as it turns out, another green test. And these are huge for Magician because he has struggled. Oh, there's a bug, by the way, coming out of conversation.
Bug.
But I want to really, but almost as significant as that bug is the fact that we are 2 for 2 on action tests because Magician has struggled with action tests the last few seasons, one of the lower rates among any top-ranked player. And if that changes, his game gets better in a hurry. And this game is making a lot. He's making a lot of progress in a hurry, for that matter, too. We're obligated to take this case, but Magician is not interested. Just like the previous game, actually, in the previous set, we're going to take the banana bread instead. It is done. 2.5 missions. Well, 2 2/2 missions, rather. One more microfilm, potentially one more flirt, and we could be done already. And it doesn't look like we're a big suspect.
Yeah, for sure. And that bug was just 100% invisible behind the trees. So you'd have to credit that from FalconHit.
That's a
But
good bug without trees.
yeah,
That's just a good bug.
It's a good bug without trees. It's got the purse arm, which generally speaking is easier to get away with on Queen. So, even if you weren't completely obscured by the trees, that's still one you have to kind of credit as the sniper. And I don't see any indication that Falcon has credited this at all. So
Nope.
we might not even try to finish with this microfilm. We might try to take the last flirt with our ST and then never mind. We don't want to take the delegate option.
No, we were just there to flirt at the bar. That's what they're there for after all. And we do get the white test, not the green. That was not done yet. We're at 85%, but it looks like we're just going to want to maybe go, well, I don't know. Is this going to be inspects or microfilm? That's the question. I don't think you can microfilm now because the ambassador has come up next to us. We're going to go for a difficult fingerprint instead, which is on this book, and we don't get it. And when it fails, we decide to microfilm instead. It's a green test, but Falcon hits all over it. I feel like that was a huge lead going, but look at this. The ambassador is next to you, which means the sniper has another reason apart from the usual to look.
Yeah, and I think that this is a case of I've done the first microfilm. I want to do the second one, but
Sunk cost fallacy. Yeah.
sometimes you just have to abandon that plan in favor of this better option of taking the delegate when you're not a suspect at all, finishing up flirt and sending the delegate and saying to the sniper, "You have to shoot me for basically just this delegate." Right?
Yeah,
instead of being able to see the hard tell that is the action test and microfilm, especially at that front-facing case where it's a lot easier to see the likes of a green microfilm if you're looking for it.
You hate to see a mission half done like that, but you hate to be dead even more. In that case, I think the bug was so good and our progress was so solid that there were better ways to finish potentially. I do like that we went for the fingerprint first, potentially, but no, I think at that point you just got to leave that blue microfilm where it is and go get other missions done. Instead, FalconHit, who I think was probably behind most of that game, snatches it back and is up 1-0. 1-0 whippersnappers, frankly. Now playing as Orange Sorry in 3, 2, 1, playing it. This is one of the slowest characters, but has a very, very subtle bug animation as a result. It's a pretty good trade most of the time. One of my favorites.
Yeah, and that said, this is Redwoods. Bugs can be behind trees, so you don't necessarily need a good animation, but that still helps. We are going to go in for an early inspect on these statues. Looks like we're going to get inspect highlight as well from Magician. And we are obligated for this briefcase, and it's been ignored before track, but this time FalconHit does respect that fact. And we are going to even... Oh, no, we don't return it nicely. We actually put it back behind the conversation back there, maybe trying to get away with that fingerprint without ever being seen taking the case.
Well, if you're going to do that, why would you go to statues first and risk the highlight? It's a strange move, to say the least. But, hard to say how much of a suspect we are. It is Redwoods, after all. We're going to Banana Bread now. We're right next to our seduction target as well, so we can flirt right afterwards. And we have one mission done and partial progress across 3. This is very good looking for FalconHit already, if we're not a huge suspect for that weird briefcase move.
Yeah, we are currently the only highlight on the venue. Never mind, we just picked up another highlight for Queen after she went to statues. And I don't know how much Magician falls into what is essentially what can be a trap of when you do your statue highlights just to memorize who's been to statues, how much do you actually watch them as a suspect compared to is it just
Right.
informational? A lot of players will fall into this thing of these people are glowing, so they must be my suspects, even though it's just for the statues and just
Right.
to track this mission progress.
Yep.
That said, we do go into this bookshelf to finish up those inspects, so we are going to be a solid suspect now, I think. In
Yep. There
fact,
it is.
more than a solid suspect. The magician just takes the shot, is not willing to wait any longer. Not sure what
Well, that shot
magician
makes
thought we
sense to me
had.
because, well, here's the thing. Inspects are done, contact is done. It's redwoods, which means you could miss a bug, and you might already suspect them for a fingerprint, so you could miss one fingerprint. That's a very, in my opinion, while it's a little aggressive, it's a very, very justifiable shot, even relative to mission progress, especially if they were totally on to that briefcase, which they might have been. Magician pulls it right back. 1-1 after 2 games on redwoods, but there's 2 more coming, and this is
Yeah.
the other slow character with the subtle walking
Yeah.
bug animation.
Yeah, magician says slow character. I'll do you one better.
I'll do you
Because
one
Pearls
better.
is just slightly slower than Orange. Sorry, we are starting out nearby to our slow companion in this game. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oh, sure, you can have that one. We take control immediately, and we're going to go flirt with our seduction target, who's actually one of the faster characters in the game instead. And we do get just enough, 49% on that flirt, and that's really significant because the closest flirt you can get, a green test right next to them, is 51%, which means if you get to 49 in the first, you could potentially flirt in 2. We are far away from our seduction target, but then we kind of weave back towards each other. We go into this conversation, probably hoping they would enter it, but they did not. We are looking around the party right now, though, and again, Magician with these action tests. Look out. The action tests are one of the things that have held Magician back the last few years. If he starts hitting them, his game gets a lot better very quickly. That's the kind of marginal stuff you see in Diamond. The difference between a 40% action test rate and a 55 or 60% action test rate can be dramatic in the standings. We are wasting time in this conversation, just looking around, maybe accumulating suspects. It's like what we mentioned before. Our seduction target won't come to us, but that's because they're doing things that might be just as good, especially if they die instead of us. We are probably waiting to see where they go next, though, because we can't just chase them, not with this character.
We could be going for a bug here, but the fact that we're slow actually makes that bug a bit worse because you're trying to exploit the time where the ambassador is invisible.
Oh, we
from
missed the
sniper's
pad
point of
on the
view.
bar, and Magician shakes the camera angrily, trying to get this flirt, and we missed it, and we read flirt afterwards. Oh boy, that just snowballed out of control. Missed the pad, read the flirt, and I guess we're going to take a drink because God knows we need one after that sequence. Jeez, it's a delegate, and we're going to get out of there. We may or may not use this, but we might have to now with that little run of airs real quick.
Yeah, we're a minute and a half in this game, and despite the early progress on that flirt, now we're sitting here with only that.
Only that, yeah. And it's not clear what the plan is next, and you're right, yeah. The bug there, you're trying to exploit the amount of time between when you make the bug move and when it's done. So a faster character would be better probably on Redwoods. A character like this better for bugging maybe on Ballroom, other places like that. Magician's finally going to leave. Where are they going to head? Is it going to be to flirt, or is it going to be to contact this double agent? Looks like it's going to be to contact.
Banana bread.
We're going to knock out a couple people at bar. And yeah, geez, look at this. The SDA is in a conversation with just a couple of people. Only a few people have a real banana bread here.
Purloin comes off, though.
Purloin comes off in the meantime. We did delegate before we left. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Who was it? It was Orange Sorry. It was the other slow companion. It was the one from the previous game. We're going to head to statues here and get our first inspect in, and I guess the idea is going to be to flirt and inspect for the win.
Another red test on our flirts, though, which is really unfortunate. Like, now you really need that close green flirt you were talking about at 51% to finish up the flirt in one more go. Because at this point, you've missed out on 2 flirt opportunities off these red tests, and that's just not helping Magician in this pacing.
Yeah, otherwise we'd be one statue visit away from potentially winning this, although a shot could come off with the Purloin already gone. The poor action tests regressing to the mean so cruelly after I started talking about the green rate, praising the green rate, and then we see 2 reds in quick succession. It might cost us this game. We're going to go to finish inspects here with 30 seconds left, but what are we going to do afterwards? We can walk away with the book and dump it, or we can hope for a green test flirt after 2 reds in a row. We're due, right? We've got to be. Here come the inspects.
We're not really seen here at this bookshelf, though. That tells me that we're not really that big of a suspect. We might just go for this bug here that is completely off screen. There it is, yeah, and the shot comes off anyways. It doesn't matter. Magician taking the bug noticing that the sniper was not really watching, despite the fact that late statue complete is very spy-like for a lot of people. So they'll want to be watching that, maybe watching for etiquette, things like that, in the late game to confirm their suspicions. But instead, FalconHit was
Yeah.
over watching someone else, and Magician takes the opportunity, but it ends up not mattering at all.
Yeah, literally, the shot comes off as the bug does, as if they were timed to one another. So wasn't even a suspect. Clearly staring at green dress, just paranoid about that purloin, and doesn't seem to have had it very well narrowed down either. So pretty good game for Magician anyway. Pretty solid bug there. The red force notwithstanding would have been pretty good, but it's green, green, red. It's Christmas, frankly, but oh, just as painful. Buns as the spy this time. FalconHit is playing spy after giving up that brutal loss. Down 2-1, trying to salvage a split on Redwoods just like they had last time. And I'll remind you, this was their pick. So they are looking at doubling Redwoods into successive weeks, and even if they win this game, coming away with a split only each time in 3, 2, 1, Planet. This is already a win for Magician. This is like splitting 2 road games in the beginning of a best of 7. That's what this is like, because it's your opponent's pick. It's doubled. This is their best shot at you, and you're guaranteed at least a tie and going into the venue you wanted to play next.
Trust track to make it about baseball.
I mean, oh, well, any 7-game series, really, yeah.
I suppose hockey works too.
Yeah, hockey, basketball, although none of them are really happening right now, unfortunately. It hurts me. It really does. Not as much as some of those earlier games where the spies weren't doing anything hurt you, but pretty bad, just believe me. FalconHit, not doing anything, as we just discussed. No flirt done. We're with a suspected double agent. We don't know that. We might be obligated to take this briefcase if we leave. No twin's going to beat us to it. And it sure looks like FalconHit is looking for people to frame.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a fairly effective strategy on Redwoods, especially with AIs completing inspects is not the most uncommon thing in the world. So delegating to someone who's completed an inspect is a very solid frame game, generally just because that is giving them all 4 missions if you get them in for a real contact, right?
That's true, but the snipers do know that spies almost never like to directly purloin. They love to delegate for obvious reasons, to the point where I've actually seen snipers low-late the taker. It doesn't even occur to them. I did this myself once in an SCL match a couple years ago. I'm sorry to say. We're going to split from this conversation right after the banana bread. It's a green test, so we can do that. We're going to go right to bar right afterwards. Question is, will we get a low light? There's 2 minutes left. Big moment of truth as the laser comes over. No reaction. Magician wisely saying, no. Same thing as Aquarium. You can't be too aggressive with those low lights because of all the obfuscation from the trees. You can't be sure who split. Our seduction target comes to bar, too late for us to actually flirt with them, though. But it's okay because FalconHit, I don't think, has any intention of doing that. They just want to purloin and get someone shot.
Yeah, and it's not even just the obscurity that the trees provide. I think that makes it you have to like hold back on your low lights to the contact. It actually can be more difficult just to light people in general because you cannot light through the trees. You cannot light or shoot through the trees, as that would effectively make them not trees because you could see through them kind of by...
White time ad in the meantime, and we finally get our flirt done, so maybe we are thinking about finishing, or at least might as well do it while we're here. Question is who we're going to delegate to. That time ad does not seem to have been caught, though. It was a white test, 45 seconds added to the clock in the top right-hand corner, and that's going to help us a lot because we were running a little slow. Combining the time ad with the flirt makes me think maybe we are thinking about finishing, or at least haven't ruled it out yet, especially because we haven't delegated yet. Smallman's come next to us, but they're already a low light, though, so I don't think you want to delegate to them, and it doesn't matter. You can't now. The timer is expired. I think we got it just because, but no, time ad instead means we don't need it. We are going to flirt while we pick up the statue, though, next to our seduction target.
I'm not sure we're close enough for a green test. Yeah, no, we
got
are.
It.
Just barely.
Yep. Just barely. That's a 2 flirt, so we kind of needed that with 80 seconds left on the clock. We're going to get a fingerprint off the statue as well, and suddenly this game looks within reach. One more statue visit could finish inspect, and one more print could do it, and I think the ambassador just gave us a chance to do both, potentially, whenever they put that red book back, and there's a full minute left. We pick up the highlight, however, from Magician for the inspect. If we wait for this ambassador to put the book back, we can do both at once, but no, we're going anyway.
I think that there's already a fingerprint here. Ambassador had this red book out earlier in this game, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a fingerprint already on there.
That would be something if it's been sitting there that long. It's so hard for the sniper to track those for so long. We're going to get the inspects done. We haven't been shot yet, which is a pretty good sign. Is there a fingerprint? No.
Doesn't look like it. No, unfortunately not for FalconHit. So
it's entirely possible they saw that ambassador walking away and did not see the book in their hand. It's entirely possible they thought there was a print there that they were about to win the game with. Ambassador has still not gone back, still has that, and is not leaving their conversation, which means we can't even grab the briefcase, but we're shot for a talk. That's all it took. The inspects were too much, even with no bug, even with no purloin, even with no swap showing. Inspects alone is reason enough. We got a fingerprint, and then we finished inspects right afterwards. That is too much progress too fast, and Magician is all over it. And FalconHit confirming in chat, yes, expecting the print. I think if you see Ambo walking away, but you don't see the book in their hand, you're thinking, here's my chance to finish. And if that had been the case, and if Magician had noticed, of course, they probably saw the book, that would have been the game. But instead, it's the next talk that does it.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was that early print, but it was smudged throughout the game, and they smudge so much faster on bookshelves nowadays than they used to. So it's really hard for a print to be on books for that long. I would have been surprised, but I did think that that might have been a possibility. Unfortunately for FalconHit, that was not the case. And Magician up 3-1 on the Whippersnapper.
Yeah, on the Whippersnapper. And this is one area where you're not a Whippersnapper. You're like, oh, back in my day, Princeton smudged so easily. And Magician, by the way, has won 3 of 4 on FalconHit's double choice. That is really rough. But again, Library, an unconventional choice for both, I think, potentially. There's nothing in Magician's history that suggests an affinity for Library, and nothing in FalconHit's that suggests they're particularly uncomfortable with it. So maybe there's not as much of an advantage as you'd think, but Magician already has the lead playing as Red Dress with all that frizzy hair in 3, 2, 1, playing it. We like to mention the hair because I think there's something like 30,000 triangles making that up, which is about as many triangles as you'll see in the entirety of some other characters. Perhaps like our seduction target, who's right next to us at about half.
Yeah, it was one of Checker or Simino that was very proud about that number.
Yes, a lot of triangles in the hair. And it's a triangle perfect game, so you can shoot individual curls. Why would you want to? I don't know, but apparently they all contain an artery because they always die. Either way. We get a flirt off real quick, 34%. We're going to walk by the ambassador without bugging, however.
That's a lot of trust in your sniper.
Yes. Yeah, well put. You want to elaborate on that real quick? Because it's a great point.
Yeah, so when you're taking that kind of bug path, you're relying on the sniper to know that you're not bugging. So taking a path where you're not close to the bug is, generally speaking, less suspicious, but however, AIs don't really do that as often. They will just pass by the ambassador willy-nilly.
Because they don't care if they get shot. Yeah, AIs are not protecting themselves. They don't know there's a sniper, put it that way. Yeah, absolutely right. So against a good sniper, it's actually safer to walk by the amb and not bug because they'll know you didn't bug. But against an intermediate sniper, you don't want to do it because they might credit you with a bug anyway. Great point, absolutely. We still only have that 34%, by the way. We didn't take the bug. We haven't taken anything else either. We're just bouncing around here. Magician has played a fair number of library games in their day, but has had a little bit of trouble reaching countdown. Not that that's particularly uncommon because you have to do 5 missions, and the missions a Magician likes to do are the ones you'd expect, Softail missions, and pretty fond of microfilm and bug, but a pretty good spread across those hardtails. Does all of them at least occasionally, including swap and Perla. There's a banana bread. We got another flirt in the meantime, too. So we're making a little more progress now. 3 minutes left. We're going to get out of there pretty quickly, too. We didn't split. We waited a couple seconds first because splits actually can be more suspicious than not. We missed that pad. That's pretty suspicious, but I don't think it's on camera, at least. We might have gotten away with it. That's the nice thing about library. 2/3 of the venue, or a third of the venue, at least at all times, not visible.
Yeah, absolutely. Good thing that we were off screen for that, as we could have tried to play it off as the conversation over on the right being full. AIs will do a full stop off of a pad if their spot is taken and there are no other open spots on conversation, but that conversation was nowhere near full, so we would have just redirected to another spot in conversation if that were the case.
Yep,
so
we just missed the pad. We just missed it.
We just missed the pad, and we were off screen, and we got a little bit lucky. White test on the timeout, Magician shaking their camera, not really happy about it.
Yeah, you can see when we look from the spy camera, we get to see exactly what angle they were looking at during the game, and a lot of spies will use that to express their frustration. Magician, famous for his angry camera shakes when he hits a red test and knows a cough is coming, or doesn't hit a green he really wanted, and that seems to be the case there. It was a white timeout, but I think he got away with it. Standard statue highlight, and FalconHit is watching for that swap very, very closely, because this game has gone on for a couple of minutes, and we are within range of a quick finish, although it would still be faster than usual, particularly for Magician. 2 inspects are done, 2/3 of the flirt and contact is done too, and 2.5 minutes, so we still have a lot of ways to finish here, but the hard part isn't over yet.
Yeah, picking up that highlight can be pretty big. We don't have any of our hardtails done, and I've said this a million times before, but you just don't want to be glowing when you're doing your hardtails, when you're doing your bug, when you're trying to transfer a microfilm, when you're rejecting a drink for a purloin. None of that you want to be glowing for, because glowing people just attract the eye, and as we mentioned earlier, out of sight, out of mind. But Magician, I'm not Tobo Track.
Yeah.
But
okay, so we don't stand
in this place right now.
We leave a little space, a respectful distance between us and our seduction target, which seems wildly counterproductive towards the idea of seduction at all, for a matter of fact. And let me do the math for you. 99% is the highest percentage you can get without completing the mission, which means it might as well be 0 if we don't get another flirt in. Absolutely brutal, especially considering we could have just stood a little closer too. But It's not over yet. We're down to a minute and a half.
Yeah.
We're grabbing this book, and FalconHit is sure paying a lot of attention to us. We have several good lowlights already, but the party's not wildly narrowed down. We do walk away with the yellow book, and you got to imagine that's going somewhere else because there's so few other ways to finish.
Yeah, we're just. I think we might go in next to our ST, and now the ST leaves before we can do that. And we're in trouble here. We just don't have enough progress. We seem to be a pretty big suspect from how this laser is moving, despite really not doing much. And that's not good for Magician. Like, look at this. Smallman's just bouncing around. We can't seem to get the last flirt. Everything is falling apart here in the last 50 seconds of this game. I just don't see any way that Magician's going to be able to pull this off and, not die for doing missions.
Well, the only saving grace is that FalconHit is really zooming in on these late statue visitors watching for that swap. He's doing that with Seek right now, and he might have to shoot him just for blocking that statue, but nope, he's not going to. We're going to finish the seduction in the meantime. We go all the way across the venue just for that 1%. That's what that miss pad earlier did to us. That's what that distance earlier did to us. That's where it all adds up. When we get to the end of the game,
the book.
We're putting the yellow book in the blue shelf. We dump it completely off screen. The sniper is protecting because the highlight Taft is next to the ambassador. They have to protect Bug, and the microfilm is pretty much free as a result.
We no longer have a book.
We're at the statue. It's inspect. Swap. We're swinging back away. 5 seconds left. We have to swing back. We're still protecting the Amba. 2 seconds left. Magician wins. Magician wins improbably.
What?
I can't believe that worked.
I was so sure that FalconHit was completely on top of us that we could not have transferred that microfilm. He knew we had the book. And so when you see the book gone and us picking up a statue, that's an alarm bell saying, even though I didn't see this dump, it must have been dumped.
It must have been so fast. Right, exactly. It must have been fast. But there's a lot going through your mind at that point. And it doesn't seem like we were a huge suspect. We might have just been a rogue highlight.
And
I think,
we were really helped out by the fact that Taft, another highlight, was across the venue, standing next to the ambassador, threatening that Bug the entire time. So
that's the thing. That was what happened initially when the swap took place. But Taft leaves, and total non-highlights are by the ambassador at that point. And we're still watching it. We watch it for the last 6 to 7 seconds, basically. That is very surprising there. It looked like even when Taft left, we were really worried about that Bug. But here's the bottom line. 37 seconds on the clock and 1 mission done. And we get 4 done in the last 25 seconds to win Library and take a 4-1 lead. You will not see that every day, especially not against a Diamond Sniper like FalconHit, who is now in the hole badly after losing their first match to Durand, and now on their heels against Magician, playing as the guy we like to call Duke. Blondo, sometimes. James Blondo, as a reference to an old art character with the same name. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. This is huge. FalconHit really needs this now. This game is getting away from them.
I'm a little bit tired, but that game woke me up.
That was a big one. Well, it wasn't the game that woke you up, right? It was just the last 30 seconds. It was compacted. We had a normal spy game, but instead of being spread out, it was just condensed.
Oh, look at this. Oh, the ambassador doesn't stand next to us. The ambassador very nearly just took a spot next to us and stuck there. However, sometimes the ambassador will bounce off of conversation spots like that when they don't have room to put their briefcase down, when they can't do it, and we are blocking their briefcase spot, so they just bounce out of there, and unfortunately don't give us like the free opportunity to take that Bug that honestly would have been probably unseen, just given how much attention you'd have to pay to it.
There's a lot of opportunity here, though. We joined a conversation between the double agent and the seduction target, and we get the flirt off right before the seduction target leaves, and it is a green, so that's a really good start. But we can't resist banana breading, too. We BB as everyone else leaves, and we get low lit and then brought right back up, as Magician wisely thinks better of it. But I think that was such an unconventional BB at a surprising time that it almost caught the sniper off guard. Magician averts disaster, but FalconHit still has a mission and a half done already. This is very good progress.
We also have another opportunity for a Bug with the ambassador here at the blue bookcase. We could take this is a normal path by the ambassador here. Look at this. But instead, the ambassador starts walking with us, which could mean a Bug as well. But FalconHit decides that is not worth taking. And
Obi, you get as excited about bugs that don't happen as Toboshi does about bugs that do. My God, it's the only mission you think about.
I can't see anything else.
It's all you're seeing.
The bug setup. I see the bug setup every time.
Meanwhile, other missions are happening. Oh, there you go.
Oh my God.
There you go. We finished the flirt with another green test, and we do. Oh my God. On the other hand, you have the wrong arm Bug. That's literally what it is. You can Bug with the opposite hand. It's not exactly a glitch in the game. It's a weird little bit of tech that high-level players like to do, and it is rarely done better than that. 3 missions are done, and at center statues, we're going to get the 4th done real quick. And with 2.5 missions left, We can do almost anything now to win. Even something kind of obvious might not prompt a shot because it's so early in the game.
Yeah, I was wondering if we're going to go inspect swap there just to end the game at 2 minutes, like 15 seconds.
It's
That's
tempting.
so hard to watch for. Instead, excuse me.
I'll cover for you real quick. It's really, we are going to swap afterwards for the exact same logic, I think. We just don't want to do it at center statue because it would have been another cycle potentially, and they're not even looking for it. Here's the thing. You can catch the swap if you're looking for it, but there's no reason to look for it that early because so few spies will finish that quick without being a huge suspect. And not just that, normally you react to the swap afterwards and narrow it down, but in this case, a 2 flirt and a quick bug are all it takes, and another rush of missions at the end of the library game.
Thanks for covering my red test.
You're even the casters red test everybody. You have a pretty good AT rate in SCL, but I guess casting not as good.
Well, I haven't red tested SCL yet, so hopefully this is my one.
One in casting, none in SCL. Fair enough.
Yeah,
It's
we're just
better
not
here than there.
We're just not used to spies finishing missions today.
Yeah, it's throw you off. It just these missions are going down the wrong pipe. Wow, that's a big win from FalconHit. They absolutely needed. It's brutal because after that tremendous spy game, they're still down 4-2. But they are sniping, and if they can take this home, they're going to be within 1. Magician trying to see if they can duplicate the magic of the previous game. Playing again as Pencil Stash in 3, 2, 1. Playing it. If you're FalconHit, I think you want to say, you know what? I'm going to play this game the same way. I dare you to try that again.
Yeah, and Magician, look at this, taking this green book, maybe trying to play it again, play that same game. We're gonna take this out. We're probably gonna stop in for a flirt real quick. Yeah, and we just leave. We're just out of there.
You were right about both the flirt and the real quick part. 34%, and we leave just as quickly as we left with that book. We were seen, I think, walking away just barely, but it's early in the game and
We're
it's a
hiding
long
the
game.
book behind our back with the idle animation, so I'm not even sure we're credited with having this book at all. So if we dump this into blue book, it's going to be really hard for Falcon to shoot us for it. And if we don't get credit for the microfilm was one of the few missions that does not leave a trace, and it does not, have the ability to be tracked if it's missed. So the other one is bug. The reason bug is so good is that it can be very difficult to see, and there's no trace. If you miss it, you have missed it. You cannot add it to the mission count.
And Magician did just miss it right then. Tried for a pretty good one, but stood far away, didn't want to be too obvious, and it did fail as a result, but I don't know if we were necessarily caught. It's a normal watch check, not a time ad this time. But the fact that bug didn't take could inform what we do next. We're walking alongside Queen. We might be trying to get another flirt in here. That looks to be the case. And we're not going to be close enough to 3 flirt from this distance, though. We're going to want to green at some point or get closer next time.
I think this book is going to go back into yellow. The reason I think that is that we took the book out from green and we went over to the left side of the venue. I think we wanted to be seen walking to the left with this book, then walk back to the right with it, with the sniper thinking, okay, they probably got that from yellow since they were walking to that left side with the book. So
that could be, but we also know how often plans based on the sniper seeing everything you do, how often they only see one of the things you do, and it totally flips the meaning of it in their mind.
Yeah,
so
it's
always risky.
You do. It's just the things you want them to see, right?
Right.
And not quite going to this bookcase yet, but we're gonna go into this conversation with a double agent.
Well, the more events you can put between the book takeout from one shelf and the put in another, the better. Generally speaking, it costs the sniper so much more mentally, and a BB in between them in particular can really shake things up. And it would be an okay time for it if we did it right now. No, more people are moving now, but look, and the double agent leaves anyway. We waited a while, and now we can't do anything. 130 seconds left? Yep. Oh, my math is terrible.
We could have taken a bug there as the ambassador walked by us alongside.
There are other missions, Opie. My God, there are other missions, and we might even double book at some point.
It would be an opportunity. We were close enough.
I think we should just make you the third caster, and all you do is monitor bug for us. That's like we usually have somebody who counts prints. I think we should just have you just monitor bug. I think you would be so happy, right? So happy. We still have this green book, by the way. We still have this green book, and we're finally going to put it in yellow. You're absolutely right there about the destination for the book, and over 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes have passed between taking this book out and putting it back in this wrong shelf. We get the heck out of there real quick, too. That might be a bit much. We're going to banana bread right afterwards and bail, but it doesn't take. It's not real. We're really just trying to throw a bunch of chaff in the air. But the thing is, we don't have mission complete. And as you mentioned, microfilm does not leave a trace, so it doesn't feel like anyone else is going to get shot. But Magician's saying I did 4 missions in 35 seconds last time. I've got 80 to work with this time.
Yeah, I think it was really unfortunate there. We took the green test on the contact. However, there is still that little
Whoa.
time
Hang on. Things are happening. We cut across this conversation completely and decided not to go right next to our seduction target. We walked over the center of the conversation and the briefcase and hit only 98% on the flirt. It's just like last time. We're even worse, 98 instead of 99. Absolutely heartbreaking. We're going to go to a statue here. It looks like a fingerprintable statue too, I think, but we don't really have time to complete that. What's the idea here? We're going to need to time add soon or go on another rush. FalconHit might have said do it again. A magician might be trying to. We get the statue highlight. We do fingerprint. We put it down in time. But we can't even inspect fingerprint swap even if we find such a thing. It's going to be a time ad instead. It's a white test.
Tease time ad. We're off screen completely. Is that noticed? That's the big question here. FalconHit moving around their camera doesn't seem like it is. That 45 seconds is going to be crucial given the fact that we seem to be trying to complete fingerprint. It's not something that can be rushed very often. So very nice. We're going to go in for this last flirt. That 98% goes to 100. 2 missions done now. 2 in progress. We could take this contact that we missed out on earlier with the double agent bailing on us. Look at they're right there in this conversation. Hopefully they don't leave after that drink take. They don't. Here comes the contact. Green test again on it.
Not bad. Not bad. But here's the thing. It's an inspect swap and you just forget the fingerprints, like the microfilm we didn't leave in our pocket before. That might be what happens next. This is the moment of truth. 30 seconds left. This is exactly the point in the game, 37 seconds, where they made their move last time, and they're making their move at the same time again, but with more progress. It's got to be inspect swap, unless there's somehow a fingerprint on this. I don't think there is. There's the inspect. We're going to be watched close, though, because we're a highlight at the end of the game again. Here we go. There's the swap, holding it above our heads, but it's a green test, so it's okay. It's a green test, which means we might get this hanging for a little bit. We're going to be put back down here. FalconHit's looking
so heavily, though. I don't think we're going to get away with this, even when the swap pens. Look at this, zooming in on the purloin over here.
A highlight picks up the statue, though. It's Queen. It's Queen. Are we going to see the fade? He's looking to see where Pencil Stash is. Reacts immediately. There's a purloin, 2 to trigger overtime. What on earth is happening? The shot comes off during overtime anyway. 6 missions and a bullet.
Yeah, I think FalconHit was just too convinced that we were the spy. It doesn't matter that there was a highlight doing it. The OT comes off, and there was actually a bit of a hang on the OT, which tells you that it's not Queen. That is the one doing that swap. The slight hang there is just enough for you to know that this is a mission win pending, not a frame.
Just a little bit. Although it can be so hard to tell in the moment. Oh my goodness. I should correct myself. 6.5 missions done and a bullet. Oh my goodness. The idea, if you can get overtime before the statue comes off, that's great. Be it a purloin or a fingerprint, even better. But it didn't. It all happened right at around the same time, so the net effect was exactly the same. 6.5 missions and no wins. Magician goes on another late game rush, but FalconHit learns from the first time, and now spying for a tie as Duke in 3, 2, 1, playing it. These are some crazy library games. Definitely the most excitement I've ever seen in a library.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what your libraries are like, but mine are pretty docile.
A bit much for being in a library.
That's true. I've been thrown out, haven't I?
Librarians are very cross.
Sir, stop going on about missions. Please leave. Okay, seduction targets at windows. We're just going to follow them. We're going to be really aggressive about this, and it's going to be a green. FalconHit is hitting some big greens on the flirts, and it's really opened up their spy game to be able to plan those hardtails out and get missions done quick.
Yeah, absolutely. FalconHit with that 51% flirt early is just it's just a good start, right? You have this comforting comfort knowing that you could just get one more flirt and that's it, or even if you do need 2 more flirts, you could get 1 close and 1 that is literally any flirt that completes.
Yep, we pick up a yellow book for a while, read it, and then leave. We enter next to our seduction target, but not close enough to 2 flirt this time, but that's okay. We're going to hit another green. It's 98%. That wouldn't be too bad, except that there really wasn't a better spot open anyway, so we'll take it. But FalconHit is absolutely nailing these seduce ATs. We're going to put this yellow book right back. Looks like it was just to break up the flirt a little bit, but it doesn't matter because the seduction target leaves anyway. Are we thinking about microfilming here? There's so much activity on this side of the venue, I don't think it would be wise. I think we have to put it back, and that's exactly what we do. And the flirt is mostly done. I think we're just going to finish it right here and now, and then spend the rest of the game thinking about the other missions.
Yeah, getting that flirt done early is really, really nice. When you don't have to worry about completing it in the late game. You know, we saw earlier some snipers shooting for finishing up the flirt. We saw, in fact, just earlier this set, I believe it was FalconHit shooting Magician for a talk, or it was the other way around, one of these things, for just that talk right at the end.
Yeah, Magician shooting FalconHit buns on a Redwoods, yeah. And by the way, a banana bread and the flirt have finished in the meantime.
Yeah. So we've got some mission progress. We've got our soft tells done. Those basic bread and butter spy plays that you see in pretty much every game. These are the two most completed missions in all of SCL. I believe the contacts in like something like 77% of games, something like that.
Yeah,
Something
have some
absurd.
kind of contact to be completed, right? And for FalconHit on library, it's over 90%, which is high even for that, frankly. FalconHit always makes sure to get a good contact in there, and why wouldn't you? We're going to go to side statue here, which means we're not going to try to finish inspects in one go, which means we're probably not going to try to rush, which makes sense. We're already down to 2 minutes, and we don't already have that sick bug like we did the first time. I know, you hate it. No, you just walked by the ambassador too. You're probably thinking, why didn't we do it? But don't worry. They'll
I
probably
don't.
try again.
I don't think every bug is good. Okay.
Every bug is beautiful. We're going to center statues on the other side now, presumably to finish inspects and to get the fingerprint. That's why you want to do that. And because you don't need to go to center to finish when you've already been once, you might even lose a little bit of heat unless the fingerprint is remembered. I don't know if it was, but we're high-lit. We have 3 missions done in half a fingerprint, and now we have a lot of ways to finish with 90 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, I would have liked to see if we knew where a fingerprint was, if there was anything nearby. I would have maybe liked to see FalconHit go for a green swap into finishing up fingerprints, and that's like at 1 minute 20 seconds left. You're gonna have mission win countdown. That's really hard to see
Hang on.
coming.
We're
But
hanging around this area a lot. It makes me wonder if we're planning on taking the statue right after General. No, we're just going to walk right past instead. We're just killing time. It really felt like we were waiting to pounce on something there. But no, I think FalconHit's just letting the party develop a little bit more and trying to decide what to do. The ambassador is not putting themselves in very vulnerable positions. It's not really clear what we can do here. We might need to time add. That might be what they're thinking. Need more fingerprints out there. We're at the one back window where you can time add.
drink though. This might be a Purloin play instead. Here it goes. Green test. We do reject. It's on screen though. We'll need to have one more fingerprint or maybe the swap finish. Not sure
And there's
where.
the Purloin. The Purloin's already come off. That's real quick. It's for the twin who's low lit. I don't know if it was seen or not, but a low light took it. Magician is shaking on the sniper side. Not sure what happened. Here comes the swap. It's a white test. Held over the head. Does he see it? Thinking about it. Yes! That's the worst place the spy could put the statue. Oh, bad luck there.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for FalconHit. It's so much harder to see the statue when you're not, when the spy is doing any other animation, when they're not holding it above their head like that. That's just bad luck, I think. And there's a non-zero chance that if a magician doesn't get that look, that free look essentially at the statue, they don't have the presence of mind to look for it themselves to try to see that behind the body block of Duke. And FalconHit gets away with that game, but
yeah,
ouch,
I don't know if I don't know if it would have mattered or not because you were still going to have to body block, you were still going to have to finish, and Magician was clearly itching to shoot, but it made his decision so much easier. And there's that fingerprint sitting there on the docket, never cashed in. That could have been the 5th mission to win the game. That was a pretty good Purloin, and Magician, at the very least, was not sure that FalconHit had done it. Oh boy. That is really aggressive spies making so much progress on library. Some really, really exciting games there. But Magician comes out on top, holds serve, and cashes in on that Redwoods lead. And now up 5-3, heading into ballroom, playing teal. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and on Ballroom, this is again one of those venues that you can easily sweep if you play it well. So Magician could end the set right here on this venue, or FalconHit could bring it back to a draw state.
Yeah, this is a very swingy venue potentially. Spies absolutely can win even at high levels here on Ballroom. Pretty darn good. Magician has had a little trouble on it. His 39% spy win rate on Ballroom over 92 total games, by the way. A lot of Ballroom games for Magician over the years. That's a perfectly fine spy win rate, but the sniper win rate's only 41%, so that's what's really hurt him in the past. His 4th mission of choice, contact, seduce, and inspect being the standard ones, of course, is generally bug, but Purloin's mixed in there a lot, and that's usually what you're doing. It's usually either bug or Purloin. They are way more popular than the alternatives.
Yeah, for sure. And Bug is very good on Ballroom, and I know we've already made it the joke that I'd like to talk about Bug. There are so many good opportunities with the kind of party cover that all of the characters in this venue give you. Just the front to back kind of layering of this party can give you so many opportunities to cover up what you're doing. That Bug is just it's already one of the strongest missions. It's even stronger on Ballroom, and I'd love to see someone try to pull one off.
Yeah, a lot of occlusion. However, Purloin also popular because of this low viewing angle. Very hard to see the list very easily. Sometimes even when you're directly looking for it for 5 or 6 seconds on end. And if those 5 or 6 seconds come in the 10-second mission win countdown, they can be absolutely crucial. So both hardtails, very powerful on Ballroom. Magician has done neither yet, though, is just in this conversation. Does have a flirt in already, though, 51%. Still hitting those greens, but We're down under 2 minutes, though. Our seduction target comes back to us. That'll help a little bit, but we're not going to be able to finish. It's still going to be a 3 flirt at minimum if we take this, which we do. It's a red.
Oh, how many red tests have we seen on flirts for Magician this set? It is... There's
3
gotta be
minimum,
at least
maybe,
4.
yeah, 3 or 4 at minimum. I remember 3 explicitly, although 2 were in a row at one point on Redwoods. That's pretty rough. We're going to take the banana bread and split right afterwards, though. We do not get the low light. Splits don't tend to work at high levels, but they still work sometimes. Instead, it's the other way around. You might get highlight for it instead, but that might be with a fingerprint, too, because there is a fingerprint on this book, and it's way more likely that's what we're interested in. I don't think we're going to be microfilming at this late hour. This book's going to go back right in, right there, and we're already shot. We're already shot.
I think that we just got shot for etiquette. Yeah, we got shot for breaking book etiquette, perhaps. Let me look back at that. We take it out. We do...
For those who don't know, there are obviously rules about when you can put statues down and things like that, and when you can sip your drink, and there are rules about when to put the book back, although they're a lot subtler and less often observed.
Yeah, we only do 2 cycles before putting it back, and I think we might have broken one of them. 2 is technically legal to put it back on, so I think it's more of the break.
Well, and you do it right after picking up a highlight, either for the split or the fingerprint or both, so you're already watching. That is a really good catch from FalconHit, but it's the kind of thing you catch, especially on Ballroom, from that angle, kind of thing you catch when you're looking for it. And if you're looking for it, that means you're already a suspect. And if you're already a suspect with this amount of mission progress, it's entirely possible that didn't catch you, that didn't lose you a game you were going to win. So still, really good catch from FalconHit. And now they're going to spy as one of the twins, Plain Twin, in 3, 2, 1, playing it. The difference between the twins, I like to call them Plain Twin and Bling Twin, because Bling Twin has a tie clip, an earring, and a ring. Plain Twin has none of those things, but is otherwise identical. FalconHit goes to the window as Plain Twin. Doesn't really do anything. Bling Twin's at the window, too. Psychic Link, maybe. We do not go and join our seduction target, who passes us going the other direction. We just kind of hang out at this pad, and FalconHit doing a whole lot of nothing so far.
We could go for a purloin here. We do have a bit of party cover with the conversation in front of us and other people doing other things, but the ambassador is nearby, so there's just a bit more attention than you probably want on your reject there, so we don't go for it. Instead, we're just going to go for that 34% flirt.
Yeah, we are right next to the other twin, and they are awfully hard to tell apart, but you get used to it after a while. No highlight, by the way, coming on. Some snipers will highlight one twin, either twin really, just to easily tell them apart, regardless of what other things they're highlighting for. But that's not happening here with Magician. Not a whole lot happening for FalconHit either. We have a flirt done. It's 34%. The ambassador comes back to us. We're going to fake, and I got to imagine this is going to lead into a bug right afterwards, potentially. Fake banana bread coming off. It's a white test.
Which means the ambassador's probably going to leave before we can get out.
A green test probably would have led into a bug, but the white test, not only was it a white test, but it took a while, which means we were still talking when the ambassador left, and we couldn't get the bug off, and obviously it's a fake, so we don't get credit for the mission. That could have been a big moment, but we lost it, probably because of that AT.
Yeah, fortunately rather for FalconHit, it was a pretty good contact other than that, and it was an actual fake for us. The suspected double agent was not in with us. So it wasn't like a fake for the spy, but real to the sniper. Nothing like that. And it was a good contact anyways, so we could be increasing suspicion onto other characters. And I'm actually a little bit surprised that Magician is not taking highlights for real right now. That seemed like a pretty good opportunity for it in this game.
It's risky and difficult to switch mid-game, so it depends. It can be powerful, but there is a risk, of course. By the way, we have another flirt in the meantime. We're up to 83%. We're going to get a rote statue highlight as well. That fake BB and debug thing, it was a mix of skill and luck there. Obviously, skill for the AT. If we hit it, we can bug. But also bad luck in that the talk came late in the animation cycle because that part is not set. It can happen early, in the middle, sort of towards the end, whatever. But whatever it was, in that case, it was longer than average, and therefore we couldn't bug until the ambassador was already gone. We're still making steady mission progress, but there's only a minute left, and it feels like we're a moderate suspect with no missions done, and this is getting rough.
Yeah, really unfortunate for FalconHit. You know, if we had that bug, we'd be in a much better spot right now. Just we could just go for that contact flirt and then finish statues finish, and dare Magician to shoot us on a bug that he would have had to miss.
Nope, instead we're just going to go for this briefcase, but with 46 seconds left, it's a really... Oh, we're going to banana bread holding the briefcase in the conversation. If this gets caught, it could be absolutely devastating as a hard tell. We clearly wanted to hit the green, but we didn't. We were talking. It was a white test. Instead, we were behind the pillar, so we might have gotten away with it because of the pillar. What a gambit. We get the fingerprint. No, there's no fingerprint on the briefcase. We're just trying to get low limit.
Fingerprint that we missed.
Difficult fingerprint that we missed? Oh my goodness, so I don't even know what the plan is here. This makes a lot more sense earlier in the game because I don't think we can finish, and it's not going to get us a low light, and even if it did, how would we finish? It's a purloin in the meantime. It's a green test. How are we going to finish? There's 10 seconds left. Are we really going to go to statues with this purloin pending?
I think
Magician
that
is zooming in on the list.
The plan.
Here comes Magician. Zoomed in on the list a second ago, but zoomed back out,
we're
and the
gonna
list
go
is actually
for a,
taken
we're gonna
now.
go for a bug
We're
as
not
they
looking
zoom
at
in on
it.
the list later.
We see it
Here
now.
comes the
We see it
bug.
now. He's all over the reject. All over the reject after the bug. Magician saves it. 6-4.
Yeah, and that was a really well-timed end game bug from Falcon here. Look at
Excellent.
this.
Yes.
Yeah, we reject the drink, we walk over to the other side of the venue, and then as Magician goes to look for the list that is
Right
now
at the zoom.
gone,
Right at the
there it
zoom.
is. There's the bug. But
Oh.
Magician zooms out just in time to see the end of it and managed to take the shot. And we got highlight for statues track. We didn't finish statues.
That's right. We didn't finish statues. We did get the bug you were waiting for so long, but and it was timed so well with the zoom. Magician, though, credit all over that at the end of the game, and didn't even seem to really consider shooting the taker either. Said, no, I'm all over Twin for this. What a move with the BB in the briefcase, but don't get a lot of credit for it. Magician now is up 6-4, has gotten at least a draw. Magician will get a point in at least each of the first 2 matches. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but you got to understand that Magician has struggled in Diamond last season. 2-6-2 was actually unusually good for them in season 5. In season 4, 0-9-1. And in season 3, also 0-9-1. So
Has Magician ever been able to get a point in each of the first 2 first 2
not
weeks?
since season 2, I think, when they were the number 1 seed in Diamond, made it to the finals against Crazy Kaylee. So this has not happened for a while, and already that's a really good start. Points in each of the first 2 weeks, and we have 2 pub games now to try to win this outright against one of those whippersnappers. Pub, I should mention real quick, there's some differences this time because we had 3-5 pub last time, and so many people just did inspect, seduce, contact, and it was just a Softail variant, and there are a lot of little mind games. We've turned off inspect for SCL 6 standard. You cannot complete with that. You've got to complete with something else. It has really changed pub, but Magician says, yeah, sure, I'll do it anyway. Playing as Taft for the win in 3, 2, 1, playing it. You cannot inspect here, which means even if you do contact and seduce, the 2 safest missions generally and hardest for the sniper to track, you've got to do something else. Bug, swap, purloin, or fingerprint.
Yeah, and I find in my playtesting of this venue that this tends to be very sniper favored.
Yes.
Bug on pub is hard to get away with.
Because of this viewing angle, yeah.
This viewing angle. There's and not just the viewing angle alone. It's the amount of angles that you can take horizontally that really mess up the bug when you're trying to take like
And
a sneaky
fast.
bug.
The sniper moves fast too, so they can guard those angles very, very quickly. It's not like ballroom where you have to commit to it or veranda where it takes a while.
Yeah, exactly. So the absolute flexibility of where the sniper can see things just makes bug very difficult to complete on this venue. And then like swap, these are probably the 2 easiest to catch swaps in the game.
Yes.
I think that the distinction of the easiest swap catch in the entire game is this front statue in pub.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Then there's fingerprints. Fingerprints don't come off as often as you would hope. Sometimes the ambassador just
Let me
not
cut
does
you
not
off right there. A
cooperate.
fake banana bread's coming through, and that's going to let off 2 lowlights. And it looks like only 5 people have a real banana bread. By the way, we did take a drink a while ago, and I think we have a delegate purloin that we're not planning on using. That fake is just going to throw a little bit of chaff in the air and hope somebody looks like they're completing, I guess, but it's not great. We do delegate, actually, to Rocker at the very end, but I think it's been way too long. I don't think this is going to take, but we'll find out in just a second. Goes to bar, is beat there, I think, by the Amba, though. And yeah, there's the timer expired. No, even before the Amba, not enough. Just cut it a little too close.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's one of the ways you can win, right? You can get it down to try to maybe a 50-50 with the purloin, but against a good sniper, it's just so hard. We have no progress on the flirt. Magician doesn't look like they're planning on completing here. And I don't know if they need to, because they know they have the sniper game after this, right? They know they can just kind of take a chance, test the sniper's patience, and then snipe for the win on what might be one of the easiest venues for a sniper to win with this new 3-6 variant.
Yeah, and what makes it so easy in part is this was conceived as sort of like 4 of 7 pub, but everyone has inspects. But 4 of 7 pub has 2 more guests to play around with,
Right.
and that just is a big difference on a venue where the sniper can very easily control, relative speaking, to other venues. So having 2 less guests is pretty big blow. It is a pretty big blow for the spy.
Yeah.
So
I
even
think
though everyone is credited with those inspects, quote unquote, right, it's difficult.
I think I think it's a good start, the change, but I think it needs one more change, and I think you're right. I think we've talked about this before, maybe a lower viewing angle, but certainly in the meantime, since that's not immediately forthcoming, that's a bigger change to the venue than we're ready for, and that's obviously on the developer side. But what we can do is add a couple more guests, and that would make a big difference potentially. Magician walks around behind that conversation and bounces around. I don't know. I mean, you might even want to low light him, but the question is it going to matter? Because it doesn't look like anybody's completing, and this is starting to feel like a timeout.
Yeah, and Magician's probably not too worried about it. We could have maybe tried to fake a delegate by Irish here. She is holding a drink, so I'm not sure how recently she got that. But if it was anytime recently, we could have tried to fake a delegate and take the list before 10 seconds were up. So we have to make the decision before
We got a
OT
timeout here.
happens.
That's what we're gonna do. There's no, yeah. I mean, it's already over. The shot's not coming off. There's no reason to watch. You might as well. We're gonna green timeout, and it's gonna hang. And I think FalconHit's going to have this way narrowed down. No one else is really even at windows. Twin arrives right afterwards. They're pretty sure they know. And we're not even one mission away, so there's so little we can do here. This is just an execution in slow motion.
Yeah, FalconHit absolutely can just wait, and it doesn't matter. OT is guaranteed. That green test time ad, while it's good to let the clock hang comparatively to having the time jump up and immediately give you away for the time ad, this does mean that whenever you complete missions, the game is just gonna tell FalconHit everything's happening, but it doesn't even matter. FalconHit decides I don't want to wait.
Yeah, let's not mess around.
I don't want to wait for this time to tick down. I'm bored. I just want to get on this next game. I know it's you.
I don't want to wait for his life to be over. It's 6-5. One more game going. Magician does get to snipe now, and FalconHit has the impossible task of trying to salvage a draw as a spy on 3-6 pub. But it only takes one little thing, one bug, one missed delegate. That's all it takes. This is the final game. This will determine whether or not Magician takes home an outright win in week 2 or just another draw, although that's still a pretty good outcome. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, playing it. FalconHit his buns right next to the Amba. Does not take control in time and might have just thought better of it anyway, but that's the kind of way you can sneak in a pub win. It's just a ridiculous chaos bug that doesn't get seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see how the ambassador walks around. Taft is a pretty good option here on pub. We'll leave those fingerprints all over the place, generally speaking. Ugh, I keep saying that.
Okay. The Joker has infected you. It's all his fault.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. It's the general. It's all the general in the first game. It's gotten my mind completely thinking about I should be saying queenly speaking at this point. But yeah.
Bar highlights, by the way, coming out for Magician, we are one of them.
Yeah, lots of fingerprints already being put around, but unfortunately, one of those fingerprints is taken by the suspected double agent.
Oh, well, that's a shame. And that's particularly bad if FalconHit's looking for people to frame, by the way. You might think, oh, that person's got a fingerprint. And nope, not to the sniper, they don't. We're going to get that first flirt in 33%, and we do have this delegate here, although it doesn't seem like we're going to use it because it doesn't seem like a very good time. Just standard progress, and FalconHit's just going to be looking for openings, just looking for little openings, and it's at this variant of pub, there might not be any.
Yeah, there's going to be a fingerprint on bar, so that this Bling Twin is going to pick up here. But there are no other fingerprints around the... there's a difficult still on bar, obviously, but I don't... you can't take 2 fingerprints from the same source, even if one is difficult. I kind of wish you could, that'd be cool. But unfortunately, so there's no way anyone can be completing fingerprint right now, and you're knocking out both people who are now going to have fingerprints, this Bling Twin and Seek, or Wheels, one of the two. Seek, who would have had a difficult fingerprint off the bar. So now there's only one fingerprint on the venue. There's no framing in AI for fingerprints at this point, with the 130 left in the game.
Yeah.
So it's just really difficult for FalconHit to make any kind of plays happen here. I think you need something, like you're going to have to frame a purloin.
Yeah, it's not clear. And
bug.
Well, and there just had not been any opportunities to bug since that immediate chaos bug, and even that wasn't great, to be perfectly honest. We got a green test on the flirt, 84%. I don't know if it's going to matter, though, but if we get to 2 missions, you can just try to rush something at the end. You got to get this flirt done in the meantime, but you can't afford to timer flirt now with just a minute left. It's going to take about 45 seconds for that to count back down, and then you're going to be... Anyone running around at the end of this game, especially a highlight like this, is going to be absolutely stared down by Magician. FalconHit has 1 minute to try to salvage a point here. Magician in a dominating position to take the win outright here. FalconHit going into a statue, which, again, has no value unless you're going to swap it. All you can do here is swap if there's not a fingerprint on it. Inspect is off. We are just trying to lose some heat, maybe, but I got to imagine it's going to be a green swap into a flirt and just hope they don't see the fade, because who would do this? It is a swap. It's a white. Magician is about to snap over. They do exactly that. Take the shot and take the win. Magician is 1-0-1.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. In some ways, this is an upset for Magician. Magician was predicted at 5th place in the division, just above Slappy Davis, who was another platinum player who did not actually make it into diamond, but was promoted due to the drops. So
This
it's
is a big one for
yeah,
him, certainly.
it's big for sure.
Yeah, it's big. It's big even if nothing else comes from it, and it's big just to show that wow, playing a lot better. And even though there were a lot of red tests, there were definitely more green tests than we're used to seeing from Magician 2, and it got a lot better as a result. The last couple games maybe a little bit anticlimactic, but that's fair because there were a lot of ridiculous climaxes before that point, particularly those library games. Don't forget 4 missions in 30 seconds. Oh boy, FalconHit probably won't for a while. I know I won't, but Magician won't either. Said do it again, and he almost did. It was a heck of a set from both players, though. Some high level plays from both spies coming
Yeah,
out.
and though that swap did not work, I would like to point out that FalconHit waited until the very end, right before he put it down, to do the swap,
Yes.
and that is the time that the sniper is most likely to start swinging away.
Yes.
So maximizing the slim odds that he had on that game was
Yes.
still very good. Made the best out of that last game that he could have, and unfortunately, it's just not enough. Pub is so hard to win a spy.
Yeah, that's what the top players do, though. They take low percentage situations and they wring a few more percentage points out of them, and they do it almost every time, and it adds up over time. That is the difference, the marginal difference when you get up this high. It's rarefied air for a reason, and you're right. Even in defeat, FalconHit was maximizing those percentages here and there, however they could. Just great play all around, and it's really great to see old school Magician peeking his head up out of there a little bit. GGWP.